shows are ready for the big show. Curtain's going to rise on it next Wednesday, and I want to welcome Michael Pontecorvo and Elise Kaplan Center to our program. Welcome back, everybody. Good to see you guys again.
Good to see you.
Great to be here.
Thanks for coming. And let's kind of jump into it. You guys are doing a radio show, but people can come and watch the radio show. This kind of seems like old-timey kind of.
Well, yeah, it's storytelling.
Okay.
It's storytelling, and people used to gather around the radio,
right,
to hear Johnny Dollar, Gunsmoke, all kinds
Lone
of
Ranger,
shows. Lone Ranger,
we go on
absolutely.
All day. Little Orphan Annie.
Yeah, and tune in every week for another installment of the show.
Yeah, so many of them were serialized that you were just on your edge of your seat.
And these are those kinds of stories. There's a author living here in the woods, Howard Schneider, and he has written a number of books. Some of which were a huge series of short stories.
Okay.
And he gave me the book and said, see what you think. And I thought immediately, some of these would be great to be dramatized on stage. So I talked to him about that, and he was happy to do it.
Okay.
And so I've gotten a bunch of actors together. And now we'll dramatize the stories. And they are an interesting group of stories.
Speaking of a couple of actors together, Elisa, you're one of them?
I am. I'm one of the
Was
actors.
it exciting to see maybe these stories get split up and everybody has a part and all of a sudden we have these multiple roles going on?
It's amazing. I happen to be in a two-person, two-actor story.
Okay.
It's a comedy. And I won't tell you what it's about, but the beauty of it is that we're interacting and we're telling you a true story about something that happens, and the other actor is a writer and I'm his wife.
Okay.
And I'll leave it at that. And it's
So
funny.
come and see. Come and see. Come and see.
And it's what's so great about being an actor is that you're not just acting, but you're together as humans, learning each other as people, our stories, and what we bring to it as actors to tell the stories. Howard stories. So there are some actors that are doing solo monologues, and then I'm in a scene, but you really have to listen and watch.
Okay. Now, when you see a role, how does it jump out at you on the page? Do you say, okay, I can relate to this because this kind of thing's happened in my life and that kind of thing? Or do you try to say, you really kind of get into a character? I mean, it's only one night performance, so
Absolutely. It's funny you're saying that because we were just discussing that in the green room. So look at me, right? So I'm verputzt, meaning I'm really, really dressed up, right? And I'm in the kitchen a lot in this scene. Well, I remember my parents' friends, the female women back in the 40s and the 50s and the 60s, right? They were so dressed up in the kitchen. The women had full-on makeup and their earrings and their hair was done, but yet they were, making eggs. And, so
spaghetti sauce.
Yes, but I'm reaching from that, right? So what I saw in my past. So when I created the character, I read the script a few times. I talked to him. He's our director.
Right.
We worked together. We discussed it, and then I was like, well, what am I going to look like on the outside? What's going to make me feel like on the inside to show on the outside and communicate it to my audience?
Yeah, so it's kind of you embody it in a way, in physical and the mental side of it.
Absolutely.
So, Michael, in addition to the actors being on stage, are we going to have Foley? Are we going to have sound effects? Are we going to do that kind of like
We're not going to do.
shows?
No, we're not going to do. No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
All right.
We just couldn't. That was a step beyond. We've done that in the past. We in fact did. 4 years ago, It's a Wonderful Life.
Okay.
And we did all the sound effects.
Okay.
And we did it on the big stage
Every
in
time
Clubhouse 3.
every time an angel a bell rings, every time an angel gets its wings.
We did it all. We had sound machines that you cranked for the wind and so forth.
That's where we met, actually.
Yes.
We were in that show together. And that also shows you about show business, right? We did a show 4 years ago together. It worked out really well.
Yeah.
And then he called me and said, I'd like you to be in this.
Okay.
So, and that really shows, our ability to work together.
So how many separate shows are going to be part of this whole stage production?
Well, okay, the flyer says 7, but we have a late ad.
As a bonus.
Yes, we have a bonus. We have a bonus story. It's
no
actually
extra
going
cost.
to be a Mr. Rooster Man, and I invite the viewers to come to the show and see it. It's going to be quite something.
Now,
Mr.
how do you
Rooster
get
Man.
the folks in the kind of the mindset of what this radio show's supposed to be, and the story and the whole thing?
Well, I'm going to introduce the show, the evening, with a remembrance. Storytelling is a very, very old thing that people have done from way back.
Campfires to stone walls and.
That's right. That's right. And it's how information was passed on. Experience, that tribe over there in the next village, who's been over there, and so somebody stands up and tells a story in words, song, dance, and that's what we're going to do. Okay. There is one story about and the author himself, who has found when he was out walking something from several thousand years prior, and he makes up a story about that spear point that was lost 2,000 years ago that he's now found, and he actually has the actual spear point and will show it in the show.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought was very interesting. And there's stories about a woman who drives the chuck wagon on a trail ride, a woman who is abandoned in a cabin in the woods, mail order bride, and her experiences.
Also, what's so interesting, mentioning that, in the old days, right, horse and buggy, they'd travel X amount of miles in a day, and they'd find a place to rest. And they'd meet a new person that day who'd have their story.
Right.
And they'd talk to each other and communicate, and they'd say, thank you for the meal, bye-bye, and they'd travel another 100 miles. So,
and the storytelling, there was no radio, there were no movies, there was no, even in the buggy, there's nothing like that.
Yeah.
And those stories, if you were an engaging storyteller, you had a captive audience for people because there was nothing much else to do on the old buggy rides.
Yeah, for sure.
And we all have this need to hear stories, to listen to other people's experiences.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say what your favorite is, but there's anything in there that kind of surprised you or really engaged you? You said, "Oh wow, this story has got something going on here."
Actually, the scene that I'm in, which is so funny, reminds me of a very famous writer-producer in our century. And what's so real about it is that it's about real people experiencing real things in their family, in their life, but yet maybe not living in reality. So it's interesting because it could be what it is.
What makes this so different than any other old play kind of production?
It's a personal performance. I think that's one of the things. It's an opportunity for each of the actors and actresses to stand up and give a personal performance. Now,
you could imagine.
You can stand up there and read from a script. That would be the least that you could do, okay? And do it in a voice that would, fill in the blanks. But if you were to memorize the story, you could give a performance, a stand-up performance. You could walk. You could wear a costume. You could. There's all kinds of nuances that you can bring to the story that,
There you go. Well, Old Pros, you're going to find out all the nuance. You're going to see those stories. It's going to be the Radio Theater 7 Plays. It's going to be Wednesday, June 25th. Doors open at 6:30 p.m. The show starts at 7. Tickets are $5. And members of Old Pros, you get to go in there for free. So there you go.
Yeah.
Michael and Elisa, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Michael.
Thank you.
Pleasure.
We'll get an update from the Senior Center, and Bree will be back here too, right after this.